Every yard, every hit, every second. It's earned out here. This game demands more than just skill. It demands fuel. The right fuel. Because out here, it's not just about how hard you work. It's about how long you keep going. When the game gets real, drink bottle still.
Welcome in. Welcome back. It is another wonderful weekend of OUA football. Connor, we've got the Battle of Waterloo going live from the University of Waterloo. Be careful. It says Laurier is the home team, but they're actually playing it on Waterloo's campus. Just kind of something final touches going on with Laurier's stadium. So Waterloo stepped in and said, you know what? It's really not that big of a difference for who hosts this game. It's a community event. We're both going to have the same competitive balance and swing from fans, no matter whose stadium it's at. So big shout out to the Warriors for hosting the Golden Hawks in this one, despite it being a Laurier home game. But Connor, this game is always such a big matchup, no matter how the teams are doing on the schedules. It just feels like such a big community event that then gets played out on the football field.
It's an exciting game for the KW region. It's one that we always look forward to covering. So, what do you want to start with, and where do you want to go as we begin to talk about the Battle of Waterloo here?
Well, let's start with Laurier. They are the reigning Yates Cup champions. You know, they had a big time win last week in Queens. Connor, I think with this one, Cal Wither has played just good, solid football. The team has played really well around him, which is always what you want to see, right? A complementary football. This defense has done a great job at forcing teams to make errors, whether it's a small one, a big one like a turnover or a pick six, or it's just like, second and short that they disrupt the pass and you have to then decide to punt on third down. I'm excited to see Laurier rebound because last week was the first time that they really got in a shootout going back and forth. Like the Guelph game early on, they gave up points early and then really tightened it up. Last week was the first time where we saw an offense consistently drive and put up points on them in Queens. I'm expecting them to really tighten down, and for a quarterback like Emmett Ward, if it is him playing, or if it's Nick Orr, or if it's Nolan Caban, whoever of these three are under center for the Warriors, they're going to be seeing a really aggressive defense that wants to make a statement.
Yeah, they certainly are. And this is one of the, right now, statistically, one of the best defensive units in the OUA. They're really fun to watch. They fly around the field. I want to flip the I want to flip over to the offensive side of the ball here. And as much as we can talk about, Ethan Jordan and Cal Wither in that passing game and how awesome it's been to watch, what I really want to talk about is the rushing attack of the Laurier Golden Hawks, because it is, to me, been the backbone of their offense this season, headlined by Tayshawn Jackson and Quentin Scott. They're both Scott is just at the 199, so call him 200, and then it's 236 for Jackson. So 436 yards total for those two guys. And they have been doing some damage to opposing defenses.
Yeah, they really have, Connor. And conversely, on the other side, we got a really strong rushing attack in Springer and Miller for the Warriors. And I'm hoping that they can try to get going here. It's been a tough sledding earlier in this year. You know, U of T's defense, second half, kind of let them get some momentum. But week one, it was tough. Week three last week, it seems like Xavier Malone was the one-man wrecking crew for the Carleton Ravens. So I'm expecting Waterloo to try and get back to their run game, back to their identity, and try to control the pace of play. Don't let the Laurier offense dictate how fast this game's going to go. And that's a big, big thing for Waterloo this week.
It is. And we've seen flashes of them playing great defenses and making teams play left-handed. And I'm looking to see if they can continue that through four quarters in this one. And we know that these games are always exciting and these two teams are always chomping at the bit to go at each other. So I'm expecting that this is going to be a fun football game for these two teams.
Absolutely. Well, moving on, we do have four other games. The Ottawa GGs, fresh off that road trip to London, now have to turn around and go back to Guelph. And for the Guelph Griffins, Connor, we saw the run game finally wake up and be the explosive playmaking machine that it has been in years past. Malloy and Smith, the two of them were shot out of cannons in that fourth quarter, it seems, as they iced away the Windsor Lancers last week. considering how Ethan Dalby fared against the Ottawa GGs, I'm fully expecting Guelph, wearing their brand new uniforms, mind you, to go with the same mindset of pound the damn rock.
Yeah, man. I'm first off, I'm very excited. We all know that we're uniform guys on this podcast. Very excited to see what these are going to look like. But yes, this Guelph offense is going to come out firing on all cylinders. They have a very good offense, and they've shown that through the season. Like we've been saying, this is a team that has their first win now, but they were one of the darn best 0-2 teams we'd seen in the last little while here. But they do have a tough test against these Ottawa GGs, who have a very good defensive front seven in their own right.
Absolutely. Hildebrandt's been playing very well for them, the veteran defensive tackle. But Connor, I'd like to talk about this Ottawa offense because Kamara, Asselin, Jansen, Avery, they have playmakers. And even though the score was somewhat lopsided against the Western Mustangs, Josh Jansen still pushed the ball down the field. They still tried to get their backs involved. I was surprised that they went away from the backs as early as they did. Expect Coach Belfay and this staff to really lean into what balances them out the best, and that's getting the ball to Asselin and getting him involved through the air, through the ground, but just getting that football in his hands. Because as good as Jansen is, it's tough to throw the ball 50 times a game when your number one player on the field isn't really touching it.
Absolutely. And speaking of Jansen, yes, he has been a very efficient quarterback this year for the GGs. He's thrown for almost 800 yards. He's at basically a 70% clip and thrown 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. But he is going up against a very veteran, a very patient, and a very good Guelph Griffins defense.
Absolutely. Miles Lafoucault being placed at safety last week seemed to be the difference and bring some calm. I expect him to be there again. And, this secondary is aggressive. I mean, Anakin Guthrie should have had a pick six last week before the half. He had another interception in the game as well. They want to take the ball away. They're going to scrap. They're going to be physical with you. How do your receivers respond to that? And does your quarterback have enough time to take advantage of quick game and kind of be away from this downfield passing threat?
I'm excited to see how Ottawa mixes up their offense this week, but we still do have a few more games to get to here on the schedule. Do you want to go to Western? Do you want to go to Queens? Let's finish up the 1 o'clock games and go with Carleton hosting the Western Mustangs in the nation's capital.
I'm going to tee you up for this one. What are we expecting from Western? It's the easiest lob ball of the season.
I don't know, Wade. I think they might try to run the football. They've been very effective doing that this season. It has been their bread and butter, as it usually is, right? We know this is Western's identity. They are hard-nosed, between the tackles, beat you in the mouth type team with their rushing attack. And Ethan Dalby has been one of the highlights of this offense, man. He has had 429 yards on 48 carries, averaging 143 yards per game. And he's got 7 touchdowns.
It feels like DK Bonanza has hit the Western Mustangs with Dolby and Kelly. But I am fully expecting them to just pound the rock, let Hillock take his shots over the top. This offense is going to do what they do no matter what the defense is presenting in front of them. That's just how Western's going to operate. Defensively, though, we've both talked about Western giving up a ton of yardage, Connor. How can they try to limit that, and how can the Carleton Ravens and Elijah Barnes take advantage?
I think really for Elijah Barnes and the Carleton offense, they're going to have to attack downfield in this one for me. And that may feel like a cop-out answer, but Wade, we talk about this quite frequently when we're watching OUA ball. Like, we believe that is the area to attack. We believe that in this Western Mustangs defense, the area of improvement is their secondary. We've seen some holes. We've seen teams find success down the field, and we've seen teams, capitalize off taking those shot plays. So I do think moving the ball downfield is going to be a little bit of a solution here for the Carleton Ravens. Now, to do that, you need to be able to run the rock efficiently, right? Like, you can't just throw the ball downfield. Teams are going to pick up on that. They're going to start backing off more guys. So you do need to find somewhat of a balance. But I think taking your shots downfield efficiently and effectively are going to be kind of the formula here.
Talking about airing the ball out, Connor, Queens heading all the way to the University of Toronto. Toronto fresh off another overtime defeat, 2 in a row now for the Blues. two in a row that feel like they're just that close. And if the ball doesn't hit the ground on a certain play, 2 games in a row, they feel like they could be a 3-0 ball club right now. And what a different world they'd be in. Here comes Queens, though. And this team is rolling. They've taken 2 licks early in this season from the Mustangs and from Laurier last week that they showed they can play with those teams, but they make a couple mistakes. The big teams capitalize, and we're looking at a completely different season for Queens here at 1-2.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Queens has had some breaks not go their way, but that's football. And they're gonna have to get ready and they're gonna have to get geared up here because this is a darn good Toronto Varsity Blues offensive unit that is coming in to this game. I mean, do we have to talk about Chris Joseph and Jake Oseen here? The 2 best receivers in the OUA in terms of yards right now. They're 1-2. They got 4 touchdowns each. This is an electric unit. But we did say last week that one of the things that we wanted to see is them attack on the ground. Well, they proved us wrong, didn't they? Because Jack Nyros goes out and goes for 124. Scott Barnett, like you said, he's a playmaker. He can use his legs too, going for almost 50 in that game. So Queens' defense is going to have to be ready, going to have to be on their toes for this offense because it seems like they've kind of figured out their identity, what they want to do, and how they're going to play if that's taken away.
Yeah, and to me, I think this one hinges on Queens' front 3, and that's a different one because you see the mix between that 30 front and 40 front. If Ollie Jackson, Stephen Capea, Grang, Eric Johnson, Bennett, I'm missing a couple other names. If they can bring pressure with just 3 guys and force Toronto to attack and try to be physical, that's the game Queens is going to win. But if they get stuck in the mud and can't generate that pass rush with 3 guys, that's where Toronto starts to dominate. They're going to start to attack downfield, hit their mesh concepts and get going that way. So if you can rush with 3, really get Barnett off his spot and have those extra guys in coverage to take away some of those crossing patterns, that's where I think Queens is going to find a lot of success. And don't quote me on this afterwards, but if we look up next week and Ollie Jackson's got a couple sacks and a bunch of pressures and turnovers because of his pure speed rush ability, I would not be surprised.
No, nor would I. We have one more game to get to here in the OUA slate. The Windsor Lancers hosting the McMaster Marauders, the 7 p.m. game this weekend. 2 teams looking for their first win of the season. I expect this to be a gritty football matchup. What do you think, Wade?
I agree. And this one is all fight. We know Windsor has that as their identity. It's bread and butter. It is the end of the road, the toughness of the Ambassador Bridge. And McMaster right now, we talked about early in this year, this is a big panic button moment for them. They cannot fall far behind the 8 ball, especially with a young quarterback. And as good as Thalman looked in the first week of the season, he looked like he was a whole different player against Queens. They have the bye week to reset. Now they need to really press. They're 0-2. Windsor's also 0-2. Both of these guys cannot afford that extra loss. I think it's going to be a slugfest, Connor, and not touchdowns left, right, and center, but just physical hits, drag them to the ground, run games. O-line are just throwing bodies all over the ground. Old school football. But that's what it is. Steel Town tough versus the end of the road.
Well, we certainly know that Windsor likes to run the rock, right? So I expect a ton of that from them. They did find success through the air, so I'm looking to see if they're going to try to, maybe sneak some of that in there again this week. But with McMaster, they are a passing attack. So how are they going to get guys open? They have a lot of playmakers. They have a lot of athletes. So how are they going to work guys open against this aggressive Windsor defense is what I'm going to be looking to see because they have a lot of veteran guys on the back end for the Lancers that can make some noise.
Well, Connor, that wraps up this week's slate of OUA games. Make sure to check it all out on OUA.tv. And if you're getting active or working out, or maybe you're just sitting around the house, make sure that you are drinking BioSteel. It is the premier hydration partner of the OUA. Connor likes the cartons. I like little packets. We both have it all the time.
Hey, I'm a packets guy now. I got to admit, I'm a packets guy now.
I'll get the cartons when I can find them in the flavors I like, but it's tougher to find the cartons. You can order online though. I did find that out. So make sure you guys are drinking BioSteel. Stay hydrated. Stay tuned for more as we crawl through this season. I say crawl, but it's flying by. Enjoy the week's slate of games, and we'll see you next week.